What's up, dudes? I'm the Dominicator, also known as Master Dominic, and in this video, I'm gonna hypnotize you to be happy. As in all of my videos, you'll be asked to leave a comment at the end while hypnotized, so go ahead and log into an account that you can use for that. Mute any distractions, and continue when you're ready to get hypnotized. Alright, now, to begin, all I want you to do is just look at the circle pattern in front of you, and as you do, I want you to take in a nice and an even and deep breath in, and as you do so, just feel the stresses and tensions inside of your body. And as you breathe out, just relax those stresses and tensions. And you'll find that the more that you simply breathe deeply and evenly, and the more that you relax, the better that you feel. And I just want you to listen to the sound of my voice, and to notice what a pleasant and relaxing tone that it has about it. And that helps you to relax. It's just as if each and every word that I say, like a little tiny drop of relaxation that drips down and drops down on top of the mind. And it just feels so good just to listen to the sound of my voice. And you notice that it has a pleasant tone about it as well. And that pleasantness seems to reach right in through your ears, right into the mind, right into the brain, sinks down all the way into the unconscious mind and all throughout the body. And that the more that you simply relax as you look at the circle pattern in front of you, and then take in nice and even and deep breaths in, and that the more that you feel wonderful waves of pleasure throughout the entire body. And it just feels so good just to relax like this. And I just want you to keep your eyes open and fixate on the very center of the circle pattern. And as you do, and you'll notice that you feel a feeling of heaviness. A feeling of heaviness inside of the body, in the muscle fibers of the body, and a feeling of heaviness building up inside of the mind, just as if each and every single thought, idea, and care and worry inside of the mind were being weighed down more and more by the sound of my voice, as if each and every word that I say is like a little tiny drop of lead that drips down and drops down on top of the muscle fibers in the body. And on top of all of those thoughts and ideas and cares and worries inside of the mind. And the more that you simply listen to the sound of my voice, and the more that you feel that heaviness inside the mind, and it's as if the mind doesn't even want to keep those thoughts and ideas up at all. And all it wants to do is just to allow those to melt down, to drop down, to sink down, to melt down, dripping down and dropping down into little pieces and figments of dreams. And the more that you allow that to happen, the better that you feel. The more that you simply relax to the sound of my voice, looking at the circle pattern in front of you, and just allowing that mind-melting feeling to come over you, the better that you feel. And the more that you can experience that wonderful, mind-melting feeling as all of the thoughts, ideas, and cares and worries inside of the mind just drip down and drop down just like chocolate. That just feels so good. And it just feels so good just to continue to listen to the sound of my voice even as you feel that heavy feeling. That heavy feeling all over the mind and all over the body as well. And you can also feel that feeling coming over the eyelids now. And it just feels so heavy. And the more that I continue speaking, the more that it seems as if little tiny drops of lead were dripping down and dropping on top of those eyelids. And yet at the same time, the heaviness just feels so good that all the mind wants to do is to drop down, to go down, and to sink down into an even deeper and even more relaxed state. And then pretty soon, I'm going to snap my fingers, and I'll say the word sleep. And when I do, it's going to seem just as if an electric switch were flipped off inside of the mind, inside of the brain, and that makes the mind just want to shut down, to go down, and to drop down into an even deeper, even more relaxed state, and will make the eyelids want to close down, to seal down, to shut down completely. That will make the mind just want to shut down, and the thoughts to just melt down, dripping down, dropping down, just like chocolate. And that's just going to feel so good. And all that you'll want to do is just to sink even deeper into that state, into that deeply relaxed and pleasant passive state of mind. And even now you can feel a wonderful and warm and masculine dominant tone from the sound of my voice. That just wraps around the mind like a blanket. And the more that I speak to you, the better that it feels. The more that you can feel that dominance, the more that you can feel that warmth, just as if it were wrapping around the mind just like a blanket. It just feels so good. So good just to continue to listen to that sound, to sink even deeper into that dominance. And the more that you do so, the more that you can feel a pulling and a magnetic sensation that just takes you down. The more that you can feel the impact, the more that you can feel the influence from the sound of my voice. And that just feels so good to feel. It feels so good that even as you sink down, as you go down, drop down into that deeply relaxed and pleasant state of mind, that there's still part of the mind that can listen to the sound of my voice and follow it. But now you can feel that heaviness building up so much now, and it's building up so much inside of the body and inside of the mind as the thoughts, the ideas, the cares and worries just want to melt down or drop down. And as the eyelids just want to shut down and to go down into a deep and relaxed state. And now, sleep, 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 and just sink down, just go down, drift down, and float down even deeper into that wonderful and relaxed state of mind. And the more that you do so, the more that you can feel that wonderful, warm, and masculine and dominant tone from the sound of my voice as it reaches inside of the mind and just wraps around you. That just feels so good, just to sink down, to go down, to drop down even further into that dominance, and that's all that you want to do. And the more that you do so, the better that you feel. And the more that you follow my suggestions, the more that you find that you want to follow them. And the more that you do follow them, the more that you just want to receive suggestions. And that just makes you want to receive commands instead. And the more that you receive those commands, the more that you want to follow them. And the more that you do follow them, the more that you just want to receive commands. It all just feels so good. So good to have a dominant male authority figure to tell you what to do. And that just feels so good. And all you want to do is just to follow and to obey those suggestions and those commands. And that just feels so good. And you can feel, as I'm slipping, as I'm settling to the role of a master, that just feels so good each and every time that you hear that word, master. And you can just imagine that wonderful, warm, and masculine dominant tone from the sound of my voice and that presence inside of your mind. And the more that you do so, the more easily that you can sink down, that you can go down, drop down, even deeper into that passive, peaceful, relaxed, and happy state of mind. And the more easily that the unconscious mind just opens up and allows my words to sink down into it, and opens up and allows dreams, images, visualizations to bubble up from inside of the unconscious mind. And the more that you enter a nice, drifty, and a dreamy state of mind, a dreamy state of mind in which all the thoughts, ideas, just melt down into images and pictures inside the mind, and they float in front of the mind's eye, leaving just as quickly as they came in. And at the same time, you feel wonderful wings of pleasantness and of relaxation deep inside of the mind and the body, as you just continue to drift down, to go down, and to drop down into that feeling of dominance. That just feels so good. And you can relax down completely and totally, just allowing the mind to open up completely as you sink down, as you submit even deeper to the sound of my voice and my words, my suggestions and my commands. It just feels so good to have a master to obey, and that's all that you want to do. And as you continue to sink down, to go down even further into that paternal feeling of dominance, then you begin to see in the mind's eye images of people and places and things that bubble up from inside of the unconscious mind. I just want you to imagine, and to picture, and to visualize people and places and things that make you happy. People and places and things that you have. Things that you have in your life that you're grateful for. And you might see the faces of people that are dear to you. You might see the faces of friends or maybe family members. And as you do, then I just want you to feel how grateful that you are for them. And you might even imagine that they go away for a long time. Maybe that they go on a trip somewhere far away, and how it is to miss them, and how much that you enjoy having them, and how much that you enjoy their company as they return. And you might not think of anybody at all, and perhaps you have no one in your life like that, but then you can enjoy the quiet and the peace of having no one who disturbs you. And you might even imagine a person you know, maybe somebody in your life, who's surrounded by all kinds of negative people. Maybe a time in your life when you were. All kinds of negative people and drama. And the more that you think about it, the more that you relish that peace and that quiet. And how good that it is just to have yourself and your solitude. And the more that you think of it, the more that you feel the feeling of gratitude for that, and for just having your own company and yourself, and the fact that you can do anything that you want to do. And you might imagine places that you like to visit, places that you like to go, in your own home. And you might just picture, imagine, visualize the place where you live, and how grateful that you are for that. And you might imagine what it would be like if you didn't have that place, and how life would be. And when you think of that, and you think of how good that it is to have a home, a nice place to stay, the city and the town that you live in, places that you like to go. Perhaps there are places where you like to eat, and places to visit. And as you imagine that, and just being at those places, and you feel a feeling of happiness, a feeling of gratitude, a good and a positive, a peaceful feeling about it. And you might imagine some things that you have, and maybe things inside of your home. Perhaps there are things that you worked hard to acquire, and they perhaps need not be things at all. Maybe not physical things. Maybe it's a job that you have, a special type of relationship that you have. And as you think of it, the more that you do, the more that you can feel that you can experience that feeling of gratitude that bubbles up and that rises up from inside the unconscious mind. And the more that you allow for that feeling to rise up, to surge up inside of you, the more that you feel the feeling of happiness as well. That just feels so good. So good to have all of these things. That the more that you think about them, and the more that you think of what life would be like if you didn't have them, but that you do, it just feels so good. So good just to know that you have these things, and that you're at the point in life where you're at. But not only that, but it also feels so good to feel the feelings of the present moment, and the sound of my voice, of that wonderful and warm and masculine dominant feeling that you could just sink into even further and even faster. That just feels so good. So good to have a master. And all you want to do is just to sink down, to go down, and drop down even further into that feeling. And it gives you such a nice, such a deep and satisfying feeling. And just to have that you can feel that feeling spreading all inside of you. And you might notice that whenever you have a bout of sadness, that you can feel that wonderful and warm and masculine and dominant presence that rises up from inside of the unconscious mind. And it just seems to melt away all of the worries and all of the cares inside of the mind. They just drip down and drop down just like chocolate. And instead you can feel, you can see in the mind's eye all of the things that you feel grateful for. And that, man, that wonderful and warm, masculine and dominant feeling, that feeling of having a master that you follow and that you obey. And the more that you think about that, well, the better that you feel. And the better that you feel, and the more that you can feel, and that you can experience that wonderful, mind-melting feeling of happiness. But in a moment, I'm going to count you up, back up into the waking world. And then I'll count you from 1 to 5. And as I do, then you're going to carry all those good and positive feelings back with you into the waking world. You'll carry that feeling of gratitude, that feeling of happiness back up with you. And once I reach 5, then I'll snap my fingers. And your eyes will be open. You'll be in a nice and half awake and half asleep state. And whenever you do come back up, then I want you to leave a comment. A comment that says, "Thank you, Master Dominic." And I want you to leave a comment that says, "Thank you, Master Dominic." And as you do, then you'll experience that feeling of gratitude again, even more powerfully. It's just going to feel so good. And you feel that feeling of happiness rise up and surge up inside of you, and sink down and settle down deep inside of the mind. You'll just be so happy. You'll forget all about all of the cares and the worries that you have. Now, beginning with 1, as you begin to feel some energy coming back into the body and back into the mind. And 2, coming up even further and even faster, just feeling so good as you do so. And 3, feeling that wonderful feeling of happiness as you bubble up, as you surge back up to the waking world. And 4, almost there, almost completely wide awake. And now, 5, eyes open and wide awake. Alright dudes, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and check out Dominicator.com to visit my t-shirt store, commission a video, schedule an appointment with me to get hypnotized. You can also leave a tip. And check out my digital downloads as well. Catch you later dudes.